This sacramental relationship with one another is prominent again as we come to the communion table, as we gather around this table, a table of fellowship, a table of unity. We come to the communion table, reaffirming our connectedness with all believers, those near and far around the world, those who have gone before us and those yet to come. We may not believe exactly the same things. We may not live faith in the same ways. But at the table, we reconnect with the divine within the other, recommitting ourselves to sacramental relationship with all of God's children, the whole people of God. Gathered together in sacramental relationship around the table, our connection with the God of love and justice is confirmed again every time we receive the communion bread and wine. Eating the bread, drinking from the cup, receiving these common elements from the earth, we are empowered. We are empowered as God's grace enters into our lives yet again in the moment, grace that has been with us every moment of our lives, and grace that will be with us in our lives for always. And what is grace? But God's commitment to us, to remain in relationship with us, indeed with all of the children of God, in all times, in all places, no matter what. And this grace-filled relationship with God, this relationship into which God draws us, also comes with a promise of justice. When we drink the cup in remembrance, we are in part calling on God to remember God's promises of justice, the promises for justice given to us by God. We are calling on God to recall God's own promises and to make good on these promises. At the communion table, we are calling on God to remember and pony up and bring the justice that has been promised into our lives and into our world. At the table, we are reassured of our ongoing relationship with God, divine relationship not seen directly, yet experienced powerfully in our lives. We are comforted for the journey with promises of justice, if not now, in due time. And here at the communion table, firmly rooted in sacramental relationship with one another, celebrating the steadfast assurance of God's constant relationship with us, we also commit again to relationship with the living Christ. None of us has ever seen Jesus. We never walked the earth with him. We were not on the scene witnesses to Jesus' ministry. We were not first responders at his death. It's unlikely we've experienced resurrection appearances. But as we see and touch, smell and taste real bread and real wine or juice, we connect our lives to the ongoing ministry of Jesus, even though we didn't exactly see it, even though we have to figure it out. We have to figure out what it means, what it looks like in our contemporary world. We recommit ourselves to following the Jesus way, which we can only discover on the way. We celebrate our relationship with Jesus at this table, our relationship with Jesus in this time and place, pledging our very lives to continue the ministry of the living Christ, which we discover through sacramental relationships in our own everyday lives. In 3 weeks, We will have yet another opportunity to experience sacramental relationship as we celebrate the winds of Spirit blowing wildly through our world. Spirit, whom we have never seen. Power, beginning the church nearly 2,000 years ago. We celebrate Spirit, whom we still cannot see, but whom we can experience each day, renewing us, renewing the church in every time, in every place. There is sacredness to all of life, drawing us into relationship with everyone, with everything. Failing to relate to the sacred in all that surrounds us, we diminish the sacredness of the other person. We diminish the sacredness of every creature, plant, and thing. Failing to connect to the sacred in all that surrounds us, we lose opportunities to see the face of God. We diminish the sacredness of the divine within ourselves. But connected to the sacred qualities in everyone and everything, we live in the earthy, real, everyday sacredness of all of life, here to meet us each new day, sustaining the soul, taking our spirits to new heights, to touch the heart of God. In Marty Haugen's words, if you would know and love your Maker, if you would learn the sacred way, treasure every plant and creature, treasure each other every day. Through these sacramental relationships of our lives, we find God, we find ourselves, we find a new reality. Thanks be to God. Amen.